What's going on, everyone, and welcome to Movie Therapy, where I chastely talk to you as my audience, the therapist, about a movie that I've seen, and let's just have a genuine conversation about it. And who knows, maybe if I'm on the fence about something, maybe after this conversation I can kind of land to a conclusion and wrap up my thoughts overall. But I just saw a movie, I want to talk about it, and so that's what I'm here to do. And the movie I saw and want to talk about is The Black Phone. Now, this one comes to us from Universal Pictures, and it actually hits theaters this Friday, June 24th, if you choose to watch this regardless of what I'm about to say. So what is this movie about? After being abducted by a child killer played by Ethan Hawke and locked in a soundproof basement, a 13-year-old boy starts receiving calls on a disconnected phone from the killer's previous victims. This one's directed by Scott Derrickson, who has brought us such great films like Sinister, The Exorcism of Emily Rose, and even the first Doctor Strange. I don't think this guy misses. So I was really looking forward to this one, and I also like the marketing to this. All the trailers kind of kept a lot of things hidden, so you didn't really know with the full story, which is great because you can kind of walk in and experience it for the first time. Just have everything kind of unravel to you in real time and just experience it firsthand instead of being spoiled in the marketing. So I kind of like it from that approach. It keeps everything a little mysterious. So with all that said, looking forward to it. I love Scott Derrickson's work. Like I said, Sinister is one of the best horror films I've ever seen. It is absolutely just unflinching, unnerving, creepy, to the bone type of story movie where you just watch it, you feel like you just you witnessed like a snuff film. Like that's how real it felt. But that is Scott Derrickson's sensibilities. He mixes reality and fiction, and he blends them in so well together. You feel like you're watching something that's really happening, that happened down the street from your house or whatever. But yeah, I like just his eye for horror and supernatural and thriller, because that's what Sinister was too, and he kind of implements all that into this one as well. So I found that interesting. So how was The Black Phone? After watching it, I like it. Scott Derrickson to me, like I said, has not missed. I've either liked his films, thought his films were fantastic, and some of them I will remember fondly as a great theater experience. So I don't think this guy has ever missed, in my opinion, and you can just add this one to the stack as well. It's a good movie. A great thriller, a great supernatural film, a great survival film, a great horror film. Once again, Scott Derrickson knows how to meld a bunch of genres together and really just make it work for a great movie experience. And that's the other thing I want to bring up first was the movie experience. My theater was packed, and some of the jump scares that happened were warranted, by the way, and like they were effective. They weren't cheap, and it got everyone. It even got me, and I rarely get gotten. I rarely got getting. I have no idea. But yeah, I rarely jump from jump scares anymore because you can kind of anticipate it. Your body is conditioned to anticipate these things. But Scott Derrickson, man, he just sneaks them in, and they're really effective. And I'm like, man, don't make me jump up in my seat. I'm a grown man, sir. But yeah, I really like the theater experience with this one. Just know going into this is not like a slasher film. It's not like, blood and guts everywhere. Like, the violence is very minimal, but it's very powerful and potent when it happens. The jump scares and the horror elements are sparsed throughout, but once again, very effective. This really plays more of like a supernatural thriller. So don't expect that going in, because I think a lot of people will just assume, since it's the guy from Sinister and Emily Rose, like it's going to be scary, and it's like, It's creepy and it's disturbing, but I wouldn't really classify it as like just full blown on horror or like a slasher film if that's what you're expecting. So just know that going in. But speaking of Scott Derrickson, I think the way he directs this is just really just amazing to me, because the film starts out with like this small little town, and like we're getting to know like the kids and their lives at home and school, and it's a real great sense of setting and atmosphere, and it feels fun. It feels like the start of a coming-of-age film. And then kids start getting picked off one by one. So now we start getting into like the police drama and thriller and mystery of the film. And then once our main character gets abducted, then we get into like the kind of like unnerving, hair-raising, chill to the bone horror that he is about to face, and he has to make a quick decision to survive or just stay there and do nothing. And so yeah, and then it becomes a survival tale. So just navigating all of those genres and tones and moods and having it all kind of come together. And there's even like some darkly comedic stuff in here with some of the dialogue, but it works. And so I thought Scott Derrickson's kind of mastery of just kind of weaving in and out of all these tones and just approaches to the story, I thought was really interesting. And it really just made the experience worthwhile, because you had no idea what type it was going to kind of like go down. Like, oh, let's we're in the basement now, and then like it turns into a horror movie for a little bit, and then it flips back into a family drama, and like it just I don't know, I just thought it was really well done on how he constructed everything. And that's the other thing too, just like with Sinister, and establishing a lot in the first act of this film was a lot of family drama and character development, and really just kind of laying the groundwork for everything before we got into the meat of the story. So that's what Scott Derrickson does very well, and you can even watch it in Sinister. He establishes character and setting and story, and just kind of like setting the groundwork for everything that's about to happen, and just kind of unravel into this like hellish nightmare. He's really great at doing that. And so, yeah, I liked all the characters in this film. You really cared about what they were doing. You care about their safety. You want them to survive out of this. And so I thought he did a really good job kind of laying the groundwork for all of that. And, of course, the story itself, a really great survival tale. There's even some bits of supernatural in there. Doesn't fully explain to, like, 100% of what it all means with the supernatural elements, but with the, I guess, family dynamic of like the brother and the sister of the two main kids, there's something with their family. There's something that they have like a sixth sense within them, so you can kind of understand that, but it wasn't like fully explained. So that would be kind of like my only like minor gripe with it, but it's not a big deal. But anyways, the supernatural stuff was interesting, and I thought the family drama was interesting. The thriller part was interesting. It was just a really well put together story. And I have to give also credit to his writing partner, C. Robert Cargill. Great stuff. Like they work together on, I think, most of the things that Scott Derrickson directs. They're just a great team. I want to see them do more, because I think they really just kind of craft like just old school type of horror films that they grew up with, and you can see that. You can see the passion and the creativity that they bring to their films. You can see a lot of influences from other films, and you got to respect that. So, yeah, I thought Scott Derrickson did a fantastic job. Really kind of just giving us something kind of fresh and unique in the Blumhouse catalog, since Blumhouse did produce this. Speaking of Blumhouse, their logo in the front, they changed it. It's awesome. Little side note, I'm just letting you guys know. So if you see the Black Phone this weekend, just know that they changed their logo. It's not just set in the room or whatever with like the many things that the camera whips to, and then Blumhouse is on the wall. No. They go through like a whole house now. It's amazing. Anyways, back to the movie. So let's talk about some of the performances, because I think this is also where a lot of great things kind of come from this film. I'm gonna leave Ethan Hawke last. I'm gonna talk about the kids first, because they are the driving forces behind this film. The main character, Finney, played by Mason Thames. I think that's how you pronounce it. Anyways, what a great lead. Feels like just a very authentic performance. He feels like a kid. Like he acts like a kid. He makes stupid decisions. He is figuring stuff out on the fly. Like he's trying to figure out like what's going on. Like I loved just kind of like the naturalistic performance that he gave, and he was a really fun lead to kind of follow. Also the sister, Madeline McGraw, Also really great. She displays a lot of range within this film. There's a lot of fierceness in her. There's a lot of sadness. There's a lot of timidness. There's a lot of confidence. And I thought she did a really great job kind of navigating through all those types of emotions. And she was a really great sister to the brother. And speaking of confidence as well, that is also one of the main themes that Finney is trying to go through. And I thought Mason also had a great arc with his confidence. And at the end of the movie, you're like, yeah, he went through a bunch of stuff, but he came out better on the other end. You know, he feels more like himself now. He feels like he can conquer the world. And yeah, I really liked kind of that portrayal. And then the father, Jeremy Davies. This is the type of performance where you have to be fearless because there's a lot of child abuse. It's not like super graphic, but it can get uncomfortable while you're watching it, and you have to be fearless when you do these types of roles. And I thought Jeremy Davies' performance as the father, yes, it was really hard to see, but also there was a lot of like just sadness within this man to where I didn't think he was fully like irredeemable, to where like he's got a lot of issues, but it was the type of like character work to where he was kind of balancing like, yeah, I'm an evil piece of crap, but also like it's because there's something that's hurting inside of me that I can't get out, just because like in the time period that this is in, you know, men aren't supposed to share their feelings. They're not supposed to like be vulnerable and stuff. And I think there was a lot of just pain and sadness there. And so you could see it in his eyes, and I thought that was a really great performance. The detectives in this, really fun. E. Roger Mitchell, that man shows up everywhere as a detective, and I love it. Yeah, and then all the other kids, great stuff. Feel like just a group of kids. Like, and that's the thing with like child actors is that, you know, it's very easy for them to just kind of read lines off of a page and not really feel like it seems real, and it feels like they're just reading off of a script. But I liked all the child actors in this because they made the setting, they made this neighborhood come to life and have a personality. You really felt like they all lived in the same vicinity. They all went to the same school, and I thought all of them kind of reflected that. I think that's about it. That's all I really want to talk about with all the performances. Ethan Hawke. Yeah, it was great. You know, when you see the trailer, you're like, okay, this man's going to become unhinged. He's not going to be, you know, the type of villain where he's going to have like some empathy that no, he's just straight up cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and you just want him to die because he's just like killing all these kids in the neighborhood, and you're like, this man cannot be saved. Like, he needs to be stopped. And I thought kind of like that unhinged, untethered, kind of wild performance, someone as great as Ethan Hawke can pull off and not seem overly like dramatic or cheesy or just like doesn't really make sense. Like, he has voice inflections. The way he carries himself, the way he moves, the way he stares at these kids with like these dead, cold eyes, and the way he just kind of manipulates them, and the way just the way he manipulates us, and like it's the type of performance to where you can tell that he's having fun, but also he understands like how to portray this character without it seeming like, oh, he's just like an absolute, you know, ooh, I'm just crazy. It's just like no. There's a lot of layers to his performance that make up his character and his personality, and it's creepy, it's disturbing, and I think that's what he was going for. And he needs to do more stuff like this. Like, I know he doesn't like to do villain stuff, but hey, between this and Moon Knight, he's killing it this year. So yeah, I thought Ethan Hawke definitely thought he showed up in this. I will just tell you that. And let's just say at the end of the film, it was satisfying after all the hell that the main character went through. Yeah, I mentioned the setting. I think it's set in the 70s, 60s. I like the aesthetic of it. I like the golden hue that the color correction has on the entire film. It really kind of puts you into that time frame. Yeah, and then of course mixing in like certain scenes with like the film grain footage and making it look even more old and more, I guess, timely for that era. It fits, and just like with Sinister, when Ethan Hawke's character in that film was also checking out old films. Those old films felt real. They felt like we were watching real life people being murdered, and Scott Derrickson implements the same filmmaking techniques in this, and where you feel like you're watching real footage, and just mixing that reality with fiction is such a great combination, and it makes it for just a really disturbing experience. But you know what? It's still a fun thriller at the end of the day. It's still entertainment, and I still think Scott Derrickson can deliver pure entertainment, and that's what that man does. So that is my thoughts on The Black Phone. Please let me know down below what you thought of the film, whether you liked it, loved it, hated it, whatever. Just let me know. I want to know your thoughts on it. But that will do it for this session of Movie Therapy, guys. Thank you for joining me and just having me just ramble on about this film. Hopefully you enjoyed the conversation, and then I will see you guys for the next one, because I still don't know how to end these things. Okay, bye.